Hello, y'all. Welcome to Bamm Raw TV. I'm Bamm, aka the 411 Giant. On this episode, King Blood.
Here in New York, it is a gang that strikes fear into the hearts of even the bravest of souls, the Latin King.
Soy Andy Domingo Pellerano y soy ex soldado de la agrupación Latin Kings. Antes dirigía una red de tráfico de drogas en Nueva Orleans, así que les contaré cómo operan los criminales.
Who are you? Why do you want to be a king?
We're going for liberation, and we're going to bring back all these biblical slogans. Power to the people. 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 Power to the people.
Es Luis Felipe, conocido como King Blood o Rey Sangre, y quien aún tras las rejas sigue siendo la corona suprema de los Latin Kings de esa ciudad.
Pero mientras yo esté vivo, yo nunca voy a ser la corona mía. Dios me perdona, pero yo no quiero ni a mi madre más que los Latin Kings, porque lo que me han dado los Latin Kings a mí no me lo ha dado nadie.
De Nueva York, los miembros de esta gigantesca pandilla hablan de justicia social, de la protección al latino y del amor que ellos sienten por su padrino Luis Felipe.
Yo quisiera que me devolvieran a mi padrino, quien es Luis Felipe. Eso es lo único que nosotros necesitamos para tener.
Para ellos yo soy todo.
Para los jóvenes reyes latinos, él lo es todo. Pocos lo conocen, pero han aprendido que él es la palabra de la ley.
Ser un criminal hasta que no me encuentren culpable en nada. Por libertad no se mendiga, se conquista con el filo del machete.
Este es un lema al que responde con disciplina la comunidad de los Latin Kings en las calles y cuyo significado bien conoce propio Meléndez.
Every day. And I'll never betray none of you. I'm on the rey. You know what they want me to do? Just stay the ink of New York State and only tell on the people I don't like. I'm on the rey. I'm on the rey.
Within the Latin Kings in Chicago, Luis Felipe found his identity.
Hello, y'all. Welcome to Bamm Raw TV. I'm Bamm, aka the 411 Giant. Hey, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, hit that bell icon so you know when my next video coming out. On this episode, King Blood, I know King Blood from seeing him in the ADX, but I basically know of him through Bosco. Bosco was one of his mans and one of his Latin King Bloods. I was also around Bosco and I was around Ray. But me and Bosco got real tight. Now when I got to ADX, I seen King Blood. I seen him a time or two and going on and, casual speaking and, going on a nod of the head or whatever. We never went into conversations or nothing to build no relationship. I used to look at him and I used to wonder, what was it, to him? I knew his situation. I knew it hearing from Bosco. I knew his situation and everything. But I used to wonder, what was it to him? He had, even though I didn't get to know him, he had an ability because his men was loyal. Bosco loved him. They were loyal. They was loyal. They was whatever they allegedly did, they did it, without no hesitation for him, in that situation like that. And they couldn't help him once he got past that part. But anyway, me and Bosco, King Blood had the Latin King Bloods in New York. They had became so big that they had women branch of Latin King Bloods. And the Latin King Bloods King Blood had, they was in the dope. They was handling dope. They was handling anything that was moving up in that particular area. They was getting their hands on it. And he was handling it and they was running it with an iron fist and going on. And then King Blood got locked up. Now when King Blood got locked up, King Blood, he didn't stop there. Allegedly, King Blood was getting on that phone. He was sending people out there to smash the rats, the people who was potential rats, the people who was ratting. He was sending people. So I think about 15 to 16 people was killed. That's this is what I heard. This word of mouth. So I don't. This ain't nothing I read. But he anyway, he was killing them and he was having them killed and they was chopping them up, chopping their bodies up and putting them in trash bags and then setting them behind butcher shops or putting them in the butcher shop trash bin so that the smell of it would not bring no attention when they emptied the trash and going on. It would not bring no attention to it. I also that they was cutting their heads off and burning them up in the bathtubs and going on. Now, how do I know this? I know this him because when I was in Marion with Bosco, and I had a beef with the police about my pictures because in my pictures they had confiscated my pictures, saying that I wasn't supposed to have them in there because they had people who had been shot and stuff, and they had police officers, or they were gonna have to bring that back, and they ended up giving me the money to get me another copy and have it replaced. But when we was discussing that, Bosco said I got my pictures. They don't do nothing. My pictures are going on. So Bosco goes in his cell when we come back out. Correct. He shows me the pictures. It's the pictures of they got the trash bags. They show you the trash bags sitting behind the butcher shop. And then when you're looking at the picture of the trash bag, then they show you another picture with the trash bags open up and you see arms and limbs cut off in the bag, just like garbage, like trash and going on. It's limbs here, an arm here, a leg here, a thigh here, going on. So, and then he had pictures of people decapitated and people laying in the bathtub and they burned up. The bodies burned up in some little apartment is in the bathtub. You can see the window and you can see the body laying there crisp, burned up like that there in the bathtub and everything. So it was a few of both stations come up and they got to see the pictures. Me and Bosco were actually on our range in lockdown Marion. And we was on our range together for about a year or something. And we started getting tight. We started getting close. I used to come out, do my pull-up bars. We didn't have but 2 sets of pull-up bars. So we just kind of rotate coming around and everything. So we was always respectful, and then we became pretty close. You know, we joke and kick it, became pretty close, and everybody kind of pretty much looked out for each other on the range. Until one day, something happened. We had Psycho. I think Psycho name was Serenios, but we had Psycho, Funny, Gasolino, and Torito, and Psycho and I think Funny had already caught a couple of bodies while they was in the system. They was already known for putting in their work, but something happened between them and Bosco. It couldn't have been nothing that heavy because they was always cool. They were pretty cool with each other, but whatever it was, it caused friction between them. It had actually got to the point where they was gonna go at it, and they was gonna go at it. So as a man, I fooled with both sides of them going on, but I had to make it known to Psycho and them that, hey man, it's only one of him, and he a man. Now if he was a sucker, a piece of crap, you can do whatever you want to him. I said, but he's a man, and however y'all gonna do it, it's gonna have to be one-on-one, or me and my people gonna get involved. And I said, you know, and I would do the same. I told Psycho in front of them, I would do the same if the shoe's on the other foot, man. I can't let that happen on this young range. And I went and told Bosco. I told him, I said, man, this is what I done told. I'm letting you know what I done told them. Basically told me, man, however they come, that's how I'm gonna deal with them. He said, if they come folk, I'm gonna be trying to get our folk. If they send one, I'm gonna be trying to get him, man. He said, and so I said, well, man, y'all, you know, we need to try to squash this and going on. And they got together and they talked. And, you know, thank God they squashed it, because I know if we had to win, there was gonna be some bodies in that close quarters. And with some of the knives we had at that time, it was gonna be a body up in that little spot. It was too close to get away from it. You know, it was all bunched up. You'd have been stabbing left and right. It wouldn't have been no move. But during that time, our old head from California, Doc Holliday, had sent word to the two Crips that was over there. Had sent words to them and told them, and they came told me. They said, hey, look, Doc Holliday done sent word. We told him what's going on now. He done sent word to tell us whatever that dude, Bamm do, y'all roll with him. Y'all roll with him, whatever he do. And so I definitely blossomed from that point on. If you know, when you see Bosco picture, and you'll see on the back of the card, on the back of the photo, you'll see what he said about me. You'll see he actually put his mama phone number on there, his mama address, and everything on there. I scratched that out, you know. But that's the part that scratched out on there, his mama information and everything. So anyway, me and Bosco got real cool from that point on, and you know, we kicked it with each other and everything, and glad that he had a release date and everything. I didn't see myself as having none. Thank God I'm out. So when I got to see Blood, and they had, you know, they were deaf, you know, they did what they did, allegedly did what they did. They took the charge, they took the time for it. So allegedly did what they did. You know, he called out of there. The man was in there. His order still meant something from the jail. He called out there, he made the call, it was done. You see what I'm saying? So his word was still moving and going on. Now, unfortunately, because of this, the judge had put strict rules on him that he could not have any contact with anybody except his immediate family and his lawyer, because of the abuse use of the telephone and the communication system in having people killed. And because of that, he lost his privilege to contact anybody other than his immediate family. And that immediate family mean basically your mom, your auntie, your children. Loosely, if you got your cousins and all these other people here, it don't count as immediate family. So it limited to that there. So they were trying to keep him from being able to affect anything else on the streets again. So when I seen King Blood up there, and I hollered at him, I didn't go into a whole lot. I told him I was around a couple of his people, and I told him Ray and Bosco. I didn't go in here telling him what I had did for Bosco and how me and Bosco had became cool and going on because he, his Spanish was thick, his going on, but he wasn't really kind of dude that was reaching out, talking like that there. And I don't force my conversations on nobody. I speak and try to help them and move around. If they're not talking to them, I move on, do my burpees and be ready to go back in. So that loosely is how that I know of King Blood and his situation. You know what I'm saying? Based on Bosco, the picture that I got, that's Bosco, that's one of his mans. That's one of the mans who was charged with some of the murders out there that was charged with that, taking on the orders that they supposedly got from him. Now that's my episode there on Bosco and King Blood loosely. Hey, thank you for watching BXBZ, Bam Bam Raw TV. Love you.
York City.
Now, once again, what you're not saying for Luis Felipe, imagine sitting in the courtroom. Judge Martin is sitting there. Yeah. Billy the Kid did it. All these Western good, all Bonnie and Clyde, there was gangsters in America before the Latin King, folks. You make movies about them cats. You honor them. You played them. So Luis Felipe, because he's a Latin King, and he ain't got the bodies none of these cats had. 145 years. 45 years no human contact. 45 years no phone call. 45 years no mail. 45 years. That's not a draconian sentence when once again, you don't treat traitors like that. What is the signal you're sending to Black and Latino Americans in gangs, right? This is what I'm saying.
De estos dos hombres, ambos son latinos y se encuentran presos en una cárcel de Nueva York. Este es Luis Felipe, conocido como King Blood por Rey Sangre.
Jerry Gerard and the award-winning Action News Team.
Good evening. Politicians from several states tonight are sharply criticizing President Carter's handling of the Cuban refugee problem. The governor of Texas, Bill Clements, says the president has literally opened the floodgates, placing no limitations on the number of Cubans entering the United States. Today, the Cuban sea lift slowed a bit, but since last month, 25,000 refugees from Castro's Cuba have come to America. Between midnight and noon today, 23 boats filled with over 800 Cubans reached Key West, Florida. U.S. Marines are now on duty at Key West to keep order among the restless refugees waiting resettlement in the United States. The Coast Guard is urging the Cuban government to adhere to international treaties aimed at protecting lives at sea. Vessels like this one, the Dr. Daniels, were forced to take far more passengers than it has safety equipment for. And getting out of Cuba is still a problem for many. Many of those who have arrived in the States tell horror stories of being beaten by pro-Castro Cubans and secret police. And now reports that the Cuban government has stalled the sea lift operation for at least 12 hours, backing up boats in the refugee-crowded port of Mariel.
A new report out tonight says the number of prisoners in America was at its highest level ever last year. 1.8 million adults were behind bars. That's up 4.4% from 1997 and more than double the prison population back in 1985. 3 of the nation's most notorious inmates have developed a relationship of sorts, yelling across the yard at Colorado's Supermax prison. As Jim Stewart tells us, an infamous gang leader went to court for permission to join in. It's no accident that convicted Unabomber Ted Kaczynski, World Trade Center terrorist Ramzi Youssef, and Oklahoma City bomber Timothy McVeigh are all housed here in the same super-secure federal prison in Florence, Colorado. After all, this is where all the baddest of the bad are kept. But what has surprised prison guards is that lately the three men have begun having small chats in the exercise yard, and now a federal judge has agreed to let this inmate, Luis Felipe, leader of New York's Latin Kings gang, join in the conversation.
Felipe was in solitary confinement because somehow, even from prison, he'd managed to order the death of others. But when his lawyer saw that the other big three inmates, Kaczynski, McVeigh, and Youssef, had allegedly been meeting and talking about everything from the news to what was on television, he petitioned that his client be allowed to join in.
The government objected. It is difficult to justify allowing his first contact with other prisoners to be with such relatively sophisticated and dangerous individuals, prosecutors said, even though Felipe himself is serving life plus 45 years for racketeering. The judge disagreed. If Felipe wants to chat with McVeigh or even the reclusive Unabomber, then go ahead, he said. Ramzi Youssef, on the other hand, was ruled off limits since he still has terrorist connections. So legally, for 1 hour a day, 2 days a week, the men can leave their 7 by 12-foot cells and chat all they want.
Only now it turns out it may not matter. Felipe's lawyer says he has late word that his client has changed his mind. Having won his court battle, the gang leader says he's now going to stay in his cell because he wants nothing to do with the three men that he refers to as those bombers. Jim Stewart, CBS News, Washington. And that's the news later on CBS.
Verdaderamente impactante. Nos hemos instalado con nuestro camión de satélite en la salida norte del puente más famoso del mundo.
La imagen de estos dos hombres. Ambos son latinos y se encuentran presos en una cárcel de Nueva York. Este es Luis Felipe, conocido como King Blood o Rey Sangre, y quien aún tras las rejas sigue siendo la corona suprema de los Latin Kings de esa ciudad.
Pero mientras yo esté vivo, yo nunca voy a ser la corona mía.
Este otro es José Meléndez, quien solía ser el segundo líder de esa pandilla, pero quien recientemente renunció a su corona.
Por eso fue que me mandaron la orden a mí para que me mataran.
La violencia fue parte de sus vidas en las calles, y hoy, tras el hermetismo de las rejas, quienes solían ser camaradas y confidentes, se declaran en una guerra con olor a muerte.
Dios me perdona, pero yo no quiero ni a mi madre más que los Latin Kings, porque lo que me han dado los Latin Kings a mí no me lo ha dado nadie.
Todo se pinta bien lindo ahora, ¿entiendes? Pero ¿qué va a pasar cuando vengan y te manden a hacer una orden? O que tú tengas que ir a quitarle la vida a otra persona.
¿Qué pasa si tú no cumples una orden de matar?
Entonces la próxima víctima viene siendo tú.
A ti te acusan de asesinar a personas.
Hace poco también inventaron de que los compañeros míos me querían matar también aquí.
Mientras que dentro de la prisión se debate esta peligrosa lucha, afuera, en las calles de Nueva York, los miembros de esta gigantesca pandilla hablan de justicia social, de la protección al latino y del amor que ellos sienten por su padrino Luis Felipe.
Yo quisiera que me devolvieran a mi padrino, quien es Luis Felipe. Eso es lo único que nosotros necesitamos para tener el poder.
¿Cómo es ser líder tras las rejas?
Hay muchos de ellos que para ellos yo soy todo.
Para los jóvenes reyes latinos, él lo es todo. Pocos lo conocen, pero han aprendido que él es la palabra de la ley. Sin embargo, según José Meléndez, los que ya llegan al nivel de corona suprema fácilmente se convierten en una amenaza para el líder.
Sabe secretos internales de Luis Felipe. Cuando él saca una corona suprema, el 100% hay que fusilarlo.
Yo entiendo que me acusen de todos estos crímenes, pero yo no puedo ser un criminal hasta que no me encuentren culpable en la corte.
La Fiscalía Federal en la ciudad de Nueva York nos informa que no puede hacer ningún tipo de comentario ni revelar evidencias que podría influir o alterar los juicios que están próximos por iniciarse.
La libertad no se mendiga, se conquista con el filo del machete.
Este es un lema al que responde con disciplina la comunidad de los Latin Kings en las calles y cuyo significado bien conoce el propio Meléndez.
Yo soy como un hombre muerto andando, como se dice.
Ya sea dentro o fuera de la prisión.
Sí.
Y a filo de machete siguen actuando los Latin Kings en Nueva York. José Meléndez está cumpliendo una condena de 20 años. A Luis Felipe le han dado 2 cadenas perpetuas más 165 años adicionales. Por su parte, Meléndez dice que por ahora prefiere seguir en la cárcel porque está más seguro en ese lugar. Cuando regresemos...